So welcome back to the third part of this talk about the evolution of man through the astrological zodiac and its correlation to the tarot, the journey of the fool through the major arcana towards enlightenment. We left off with Leo. At this stage of man's evolution, he is conquering himself, his pride, his ego, represented by the sun, and that pure energy of ego is represented by the sun. So we move then into Virgo, the next stage of his psychic progress. And Virgo the Virgin, this is the realm in which he is tasked to serve mankind, to forget himself. And remember, Leo, at the Leo stage, he was conquering his own ego, his pride. Here, he now transforms that solar energy into service, selfless service. And when you serve, you present, you offer, you pave the way. And in this task of service, again, deep humility is necessary, as well as the realization that you and the other are one. You serve the other, you serve yourself. But here we need to realize that sometimes that altruistic impulse to serve that a Virgo has can be corrupted. As when one starts to conceive of the benefits of your service and how it will elevate you in the social hierarchy. So by imagining that you will be lauded, praised, appreciated, honored for your service, that becomes the impetus for service, as opposed to that selfless, altruistic need to give to the other because the other is recognized as self. So this is the dilemma of the Virgo, is manufactured motivation for service. It's what can trip up the Virgo. He is very conscious of the collective and his place in the collective. And he strives to, when he strives to ascend above the collective through his service, he's tripped up. He fails, he falls. This is the lesson that needs to be learned during the phase of Virgo. The next stage is Libra. And Libra is represented by the scales of justice. Libra must operate from the point of truth. Truth is his lesson. Finding truth, ferreting out, sifting out the truth from that which is the lie, both in himself and in the world. Sifting through the attempts to imitate the truth, to falsify the truth, to simulate the truth without it being the truth. The truth being that which is the original nature of the human soul. Anything that deviates from that is considered to be untrue. So this is law. This is man-made law or natural law. Many scientists come from this realm as they try to discern the truth behind nature, the truth behind a person's actions in a court of law. So it's very easy to become deluded by false truths. So this is the dilemma of Libra, is the willing acceptance of falsehoods, both in themselves and in the other. And when there is a lack of drive towards living in truth, the Libra suffers tremendously. Whether they're lying to themselves or lying to the other, or whether they refuse to admit that they are being lied to. Living a lie is the ultimate challenge for a Libra. But when a Libra lives in his truth, in the truth itself, it's the light of the world. He will be the light of the world. And he will always show the right path forward. He will lead us out of chaos and darkness. It's the role of Libra. Then we move into the next stage of Scorpio. It's an interesting thing, Scorpio, because Scorpio is about silence, about shutting out the noise of the world and immersing the spirit, the soul, in silence, where all truth resides. So that truth that Libra was searching for is then found in silence, in the depths of the soul itself, in the quiet of meditation. Scorpio is known to be deep, is known to be the inquisitor, the researcher, the investigator, the prober of reality. But in that exploration, a deep silence must be resurrected in one's soul. When a Scorpio errs in his quest, again for truth, in silence, he may in fact disturb his own equilibrium, that Libra that he came from, and thus create extremes of behavior, extremes of passion. His passion becomes the motivator, as opposed to his need for silence and deep recognition of his inner truth. That is the very difficult realm of Scorpio. I think that's why he has 3 symbols as opposed to 1, because he is always transmuting, transforming from passion to silence, from what is intense to what is moderate. So this is his karma. The next stage, Sagittarius, is represented by the centaur. The centaur is about the universe. He's a half man, half beast, the centaur is. And it's about the universe teaching the beast, the man, the human, through its manifold designs, architectures, realities. Many scientists are Sagittarius. Many philosophers are Sagittarius. because it's a realm of learning. Learning to observe the world, the universe, and to decipher, to make sense of that world of information. The center pulls his arrow back and aims it at the heavens. He's trying to pierce through the Maya, the illusion, to get to the heart of the meaning of the mystery, of the illusion of the universe as it presents itself to him. So Sagittarians are inquisitive. They are extraordinarily empowered with intellectual and spiritual need for knowledge, to know, to understand, to fathom. And there's a satisfaction that comes to them only through a sort of an embracing of knowledge. This, of course, can go badly when the universe, that which is observed, that which is the teacher, becomes the God. And the self that is witnessing or learning is diminished by that incredible panoply of creation. That's one of the ways that Sagittarians can trip up. The other way is when they identify with the magnitude of the universe and feel that they can embrace it with their mind, encapsulate it, hold it, control it. So they become above the universe, like a god. And what they find is that this never satisfies the more potent spiritual need for freedom. While you're embracing knowledge, holding onto it tightly, controlling it, you're not free. You're weighed down. And you will be destroyed by the very thing that you think you're controlling. So that is the task and challenge of Sagittarius. So now, let's move on to the next stage, which is Capricorn, the sea goat. Capricorn is the most familiar with the material realm at this stage of its evolution through the cycles. By the time we reach Capricorn, we've lived in the material world for eons. And now we are familiar with it and can indeed live within it as an ally. Give me a moment. There we go. Sometimes we have computer problems. We have, at Capricorn evolved to the point where we are no longer struggling against nature. Through Sagittarius, we've, in a sense, gleaned some of her secrets and are at home with her cycles and her architecture. The task of Capricorn is to live without becoming bored, without becoming habituated, still living with a sense of spontaneity and wonder. For a Capricorn has had a long time to live out many scenarios. And by the time you reach Capricorn, there's a certain amount of at easeness with life. But that at easeness can become a habit. You can become unconsciously habituated to a routine, a way of doing things, a way of seeing things, a way of being, which then don't allow you to ascend the goat to the mountain, or to plunge deep down into the sea, the marine aspect of the psyche, that deep subconscious realm. So it's about ascension and descension into self, and not this sort of placid getting by that is sometimes indicative of this state of mind. But the beauty of it is that there's no more alienation from the outer world, no more being constantly provoked by uncertainty. So this is the tightrope that the Capricorn has to walk. The next stage is Aquarius. Aquarius is a very interesting sign. It's the sign of the humanitarian. It's the sign of the idealist. The sign of the social reformer. It's sort of, I think of it as, if you would think of it politically, as communism, in the sense that the self becomes a part of the collective and joins in the unifying energy of the social order to direct humanity towards the good. The problem arises in Aquarius when they become disappointed, disillusioned, disgruntled by the ills of society. They become antagonistic towards humanity because of their disappointment in them. And they often withdraw into a state of skepticism, criticism, and constant agitation at the state of humanity, hating humanity for its lack of higher ideals. So their idealism becomes the very thing that undoes their spiritual ascension. So for an Aquarius, it's the removal of self and the identifying of self with the group that is not going to be interfered with by any philosophical or belief systems that will spoil the feelings of unity that is necessary for an Aquarian to be happy. They have to feel as if they belong, and that they belong in a world that is good. This is most imperative for an Aquarian. And finally, we have Pisces. And Pisces is the last sign. This is the last step before we leave the material plane. And Pisces is about patience. Patience. Patience because there's a realization in Pisces that everything has its time. That everything is as it should be. And that we can simply wait and anticipate the goodness that is evolving in humanity. This brings a sense of deep peace and self-acceptance as we faithfully wait for the rest of humanity to come to the good. And then we either start the cycle again and we reincarnate, or we try the human experience on again, like a vestment, or we move on to a new dimension in which we have supreme freedom to be ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed that journey through the signs, and thank you for liking, sharing, and supporting, and for donating. I really appreciate your help. Namaste. See you next video.